Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another tutorial. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to drop mix trap music. This is a part 2 to my previous video that I did. So the tracks that I'm going to be using is, the first one is RL Grime, Skrillex, What's So Not Waiting. And then the second track is Zed's Dead and Jaws Lights Go. So I'll link both of those down in the description below so you guys can check out those tracks. But essentially, I'm going to be drop mixing, and so for my first track, I'm going to be going from the RL Grime, What's So Not Skrillex track into the drop of my Zed's Dead and Jaws track. So I'm going to be having my cue points set at the build-ups and the drops. So for my first track, on my platter A, I have the RL Grime, What's So Not Skrillex track, and I have the cue point set to the build-up, as you guys can hear. Yeah, so I'm going to be starting it just before the actual build-up, just so I have enough time to, beat match my Zed's Dead and Jaws track, which is over on platter 2. Now this track, it also has my cue points set at the build-up, the drop, whatever, but I'm going to be cueing it from the first build-up. That's the kind of layout that I have right now. Both tracks are at 80 BPM, so that means that I don't have to, move the pitch, tempo or anything, or essentially kind of change any of the tempo for any of them. So I'm perfect to go for mixing right away. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be having my first track play. On the build up, I will cue my second track in, beat match them together, bring up my second track, and then once the kind of fill little vocal break comes in, I'll throw down my volume for my second track, and then right when the drop hits, I will switch it and let the drop play out for the Zed's Dead and Jaws track. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, comment, and if you guys want one-on-one DJ lessons with me, the link is in the description below. But without further ado, let's get right into this. So I'm just going to be going over it once without kind of talking over it, so you guys can see what's happening, and then I'll explain it, and then I'll go over an example where I kind of lead you through what's going on in my head. So let's get started with this one. Yeah, so essentially that was kind of the idea behind it. So what you guys saw me do there was essentially just bring up the second track, kind of have that vocal play in, and then drop mix it after the kind of vocal fill. Now there's two ways of kind of doing this whole build-up thing. So one thing is I could have had only my RL Grime Skrillex track playing for the entire build-up, so I would just have the crowd hear that, and then at the last moment I'd drop switch it into my next track. Or I could have done what I did just in that little kind of instruction part right there, where I brought in my second track little by little, just so the crowd could hear what's coming into the mix. But both ways are basically up to your discretion, whatever you want to do. Sometimes it's cool to let the vocals play. So my first track doesn't have any vocals except sort of kind of like a vocal loop, which is really toned down. You can't really hear it. But my second track has that vocal playing, which I'll show you guys right here. So this is a really cool part to lay over. That's why I chose to basically kind of let it play out in the mix. Yeah, so you guys could hear that vocal playing out. Now, what I did was just layer it, tease it to the crowd, but you can do either or, make the crowd get super kind of bring in a big surprise of the second track coming in for the drop switch, or just have the second track being kind of teased and then eventually switch it into the drop. But both ways work. So what I'm going to be doing now is just going to be leading you through a second time, but I'm going to be kind of talking over what is going on in my head while I'm doing this. So I have my first track playing, the build-up's coming, and I have it queued up. Played, both of them are lined up. Bringing it up so that you can hear it. Lowering, switch. Yeah, so as you guys kind of saw there, I brought it up, and then at the last kind of vocal moment, I switched the two drops. But yeah, this works with a variety of different, trap tracks. You just have to make sure that they're in the same BPM when you're trying to drop mix them. Have your cue points set. So if you guys don't know where to set your cue points, make sure you check out my video on how to set cue points. I'll put it up in the corner and down in the description. You guys can check out that video and see where to set your cue points for drop mixing. And then after that, having your timing right, and then drop switching and having the timing for that right as well. Those are important. Make sure you guys play around with a bunch of different tracks, see what works, make sure they're in key as well, so it doesn't sound off key when you switch the drop, because that's one of the worst things. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment, and if you guys want one-on-one DJing lessons with me, make sure you check it out down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.